it's an honor to be in a room with people that are making a difference. And what I think is much more important than what Coach Kill's doing in the game of football. And I think sometimes we emphasize things in our society more than others, and I don't think we certainly emphasize what you all are doing. I don't think there's anything more important than working with young people and what you're doing with scouting and teaching and being a part of the Boy Scouts. I grew up in a small town in 2000 and never really had the opportunities to do what these young people get to do with you in scouting. But I would tell you, as I look among the room and I think about what I do for a living, I started coaching at the lowest level and worked all the way through. I've seen about everything you can see at one time or the other. I've been in some homes from all over the country, from Minnesota to Mobile, Alabama, all the way to Southern California. And I've been in a lot of schools. I would tell you, I am old school, you've heard that a few times, is that I think where we're at in our country today, if we had everybody that was really mandatory that they had to get involved in scouting at a young age, and probably when they got out of high school, served a year in the military, we'd probably have a better country. Would everybody agree to that? I think what you're doing and getting involved with scouting is so crucial in our country today. I get young kids now when they're 18 to 22-year-olds. Some of them maybe have never been involved in scouting. I wish they would, because they don't have all the core values that what you're teaching. And then we have to teach them when they're 18 years old, and it's hard to catch somebody up that's missed 18 years of it. So I can't emphasize what you're doing and how special it is taking young people and working with them, because they are our future. We need our young people. You know, I always tell people all the time when I speak, it's not the young people that's the problem, it's the grown-ups. It's not the grown-ups in this room, because the grown-ups in this room care. But there's a lot of grown-ups in my generation that haven't really done their job, so to speak. And we need to do our job. So I compliment you and encourage you to continue to do the job that you're doing, because you are making a difference in a young person's life. A young person coming to you and you be involved in that young person's lives, and you're teaching them life skills that they may never ever get without you. I think of the core values, and I think about respect. You know, I was in a home here a couple nights ago, and the young man that I was visiting with, yes sir, no sir, thank you, I appreciate it. And he's a very good football player, but you know why I really liked him was his respect, his values to people. You know, I noticed when his mother came in, he got up, let her sit down, moved to another chair. That's respect. And I think you have to teach that respect when they're young. And if they learn it when they're young, when they grow older, it becomes a habit. Believe me, I was raised by my mother and father in that little town of 2000, and I learned respect. If I didn't do what I was told, my dad took care of it pretty quickly. He had his own scouting service. So I made sure I understood that when I was dealing with an adult or somebody in charge, I made sure I treated them the right way. Teamwork. When you think about scouting, you think about coaching football, you think about life. There's nothing more than life than teamwork. You know, we're talking about that as we're at the university and we're trying to build a football program. Coach Kill's not going to build a football program. It's going to be a large group of people working together to build a program. We need to be able to work together like this room is. We have 750 people in here that care about young people, and you all are going the right direction. You're working together. You know, it's not a selfish thing. It's hard to get people to be unselfish, to give up something for the good of the cause. And when you're teaching young people, in scouting, and when you go on trips and you go to different places and you work together, those kids are learning to do that. And that becomes a habit. If you learn to work together at an early age, you learn to work together when you go older. I always say life's about good habits and bad habits. If we can catch these young people early and teach them good habits, they will carry on for the rest of their life. And I'd like to know the statistic of, the people that are involved in Boy Scouts. As you track them as they've come in and where they're at today, it would probably be an unbelievable statistic. So I encourage you to continue to recruit more young people and get them involved, because we need that so bad. Because again, as I go through those core values, I think it's very important. You talk about, and I'm not going to go through every one of your core values, but some of that really touch some of the things we do is faith. I'm not afraid to talk about faith. I have no chance in life if I didn't have any faith. I've been through a lot over the past 9 years of my life. I've lived one of those blessed lives until I was 42 years old, and then I had a few little bumps in the road, some adversity. I can't tell you, if it wasn't for the way I was raised and the faith that I have, I wouldn't be here. No way. So it's important that we have faith and we teach faith, and I don't apologize for that. I think it's so important through learning things, and certainly young people, and faith in each other. There's a lot of things to do with faith. You have to, just think if we could get everybody in the room to care about the person next to them more than they care about themselves. Or every Boy Scout that you work with care about that other Boy Scout more than he cares about himself. Just think where our country would have if we had that type of leadership and the building of that leadership you're doing through your hard work. I also talk about responsibility, teaching young people responsibility, not entitlement, but responsibility. As I tell our players all the time, we give you, this is what we expect of you. These are your responsibility for being able to wear a Gopher uniform and run out. You are a role model. You're representing the University of Minnesota. These are the responsibilities that you must carry out. Some young people can't carry those out, but part of that is they haven't learned it at an early age, and we have to teach it when they're 18. Again, what you're doing is much more important than what I'm doing, because you're getting these young people and you're able to teach them how important responsibility is. When you can take them out on a task and everybody's got a responsibility to do their job, and at the end of it they can see something that they built. And they said, we did it together and we worked together and everybody did their job. You're teaching that at a level that, as you bring them up, that sometimes a lot of kids don't get. So don't forget the importance of what you do and what you're teaching in scouting, because it's so important. You talk about, character. I say there's two types of people. I just told a recruit the other day, I said, we're trying to recruit character, not characters. There's a difference. When I was at Southern Illinois, when I went there, we had a lot of characters. We finally got that turned around. We developed character, and the result was just not winning, but we turned out good people that are responsible people and doing very well in the world today. And that's the most important thing in teaching and coaching. That's the wins and losses that will certainly be graded a lot more than the wins and losses as the games. Same with Northern Illinois. When I went there, we had many characters. Now they're playing in a BCS bowl game, but they're not doing it because they got characters. They've got much more character. And we're trying to do the same thing with our football program here. We had some unique characters when we've got here. We've tried to change some of that character as much as we can. We still have a lot of work to do. But you know what? We're doing the same things you're doing, except we're doing it way too late. It should have been done a long time ago. And so I can't emphasize again the importance of your involvement in scouting, because you're molding our youth and you make it much easier. I think, I look at what, coaches get paid, what I get paid, and what teachers. My daughter's a teacher here in the Twin Cities, and she teaches learning disability kids. And it's important. I said, you got the most important job of anybody. And she says, well, if my job's so important, why I get paid this and you get paid what you get paid? You know what? That's a great question, and that's my own daughter. But it's a great question. Is somewhere along the lines, we need to understand what's truly important. And what's truly important is what you're doing, not so much what Coach Kill's doing. Is that you're molding the youth of America, and believe me, we need those kids molded. There's a lot of them begging to be molded. There's a lot of kids in our program right now that they want discipline. They need discipline. There's nothing wrong with discipline, because at the end of the day, if we have more disciplined people in our society, we'll have less problems. I had a lot of discipline when I was growing up, and again, you teach that through scouting, and there's nothing more important with that. So continue to do what you're doing. In touching with that, and maybe the last thing that I will touch on, and again, I could go through all the core values, would be courage. I think you have to have courage to kind of step out of the box and be different. I know as a head coach, any decision I make from a day-to-day basis, 50% of the people are going to like it. The other 50% are going to email me and tell me they don't like it. As leaders of young people, you can't worry about that. You have to do what is right. You have to teach all the core values that you're teaching. Don't let anybody take you off those core values. That's what our country needs. That's what our kids need. Don't apologize for those things. I don't apologize for being a disciplinarian. I don't apologize for it at all. My job as a head football coach at the University of Minnesota is to take an 18-year-old kid, and when he's 22, he's got a college education, and he's a better man and does better productive things later on down the road. Your job's much more important than mine, because you're doing it at such an early age and you're carrying him for a lot longer time. I coached high school football. I was a stronger influence coach in high school football than I am now. I coached youth football. I was probably a stronger influence then than I am now, because again, when you can get those kids early, you can save a lot of them. We save a few, there's no question about that, and we've saved a few here at Minnesota, but it's hard to change somebody that's been doing something 18 years of their life. So if you can get them involved in scouting and get involved in the Boy Scouts and teach them all the core values you teach them, you are making it easy for us. You're making it easier for the high school teachers. You're the true teachers, and there's nothing more like hand-on teaching and teach them right there. So I compliment you for all the things that you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing. And you know, we need more people like you, because our future is our young people, and if we don't get it straightened out, we're going to have problems. I've got 2 young daughters. Both of them are, one's that teaches, one's in speech pathology. Someday I hope to have grandchildren, and you know, I want to see us go the right direction. And the only way we can go the right direction is have community and have a group of people like you continues to move us forward. And you know, it's pretty enlightening to come in and sit at that table, see the American flag, march in, the discipline. That's what we need. And I don't apologize for saying that's what we need. So we do need you. In closing, I would tell you, we appreciate all your support. We're excited about going to a bowl game. We're trying to do what you're doing. I'm not doing it as well as I'd like to and as fast as I'd like to. But we're trying to teach the same core values in our players that you're teaching to the Boy Scouts. When I get it figured out and do it as good as you, we'll be continuing to go to bowl games, and we will continue to move our program forward. We're working very hard in the core values you teach, and hopefully we can continue to do that and bring the state of Minnesota a football program that they're very proud of. I will tell you that we are proud of our kids and the direction we're going. Our future looks great. We're redshirting a ton of players. It gives us an opportunity to practice with them, and we're going to a great bowl game. So we're looking forward to that. In closing, I think the biggest thing is that remember, you know, life is very short. Life is very short. We recently, my wife and I, her brother-in-law came up to a game, the Michigan game, went into a cardiac arrest and was in a coma for 3 straight weeks, and he recently passed here about 3 or 4 days ago. He's 52 years old. And I was up at the hospital for 3 straight weeks, and I watched somebody that laid there, and I watched my wife talk to her brother every day and get up and move him and tried to bring him out of that coma. And as I watched something like that for 3 weeks, it reminded me that we all need to count our blessings. We all need to be appreciative of what we have. We all need to appreciate to know that the next day is important, because we don't know what the next day brings. I encourage you to live life to its fullest. Live every day. And the most important thing you do is to continue to do what you're doing. Give back, because at the end, that's what life's all about. Your legacy will be what you do and what you do to help other people. God bless you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Keep doing what you're doing, and have a great day. Thank you very much.